as we went around the room and there were all these introductions of people who were involved in the logistics for the meeting, people who were involved in making the STEP program run and making decisions about funding and all of those other things, I was thinking that this other part of the meeting, this intellectual part, as Susan calls it, that my committee and I have been involved in organizing, has involved so many of you that this is really what is going to make this meeting run. Is the fact that so many of you have volunteered your time and your energy and share your ideas at this meeting. So what I would actually just like to do is to get all of those of you who are involved in breakout sessions as panelists, as moderators, or as workshop presenters, or plenary speakers, or whatever, to stand up right now. There's a lot of you. And if you did a count, you would see that it's actually well over 1/4 of the people here are involved in giving presentations of one sort or another. And that's not including all of you who are presenting posters later this afternoon, which I'm assuming if I had all of you stand up, the whole room essentially would stand up. So, so we won't go that far. But now let's see, I'm going to go through, let me see if I can get my advisory team to stand up. So let's see, David Feldon, you're around somewhere. David, Type 2 grantee from University of Virginia. Kimberly, are you here? No. Kimberly Douglas Mankin from Kansas State. Georgia Kimball. Did I miss somebody? Oh, the slides are up. Thanks.
Forget the committee.
Oh no, I'm going to go through the committee still. That's the next slide, and you'll see everybody's name. So Georgia Kimball is from Texas A&M, the Engineering Experiment Station. Ginger Rao from, and she's already been introduced, from Middle Tennessee State, and Brian Tibbett. Brian from Estrella Mountain Community College in Arizona. So they were extremely helpful, and as I would sit back and say, gee, I really would like this coming year's meeting to be exactly like last year's. It would be so much easier on me if it were exactly like last year's and I didn't have to worry about anything new cropping up. They would say, no way. And they would push me further and further and further to try some new ideas. And you'll see we are trying a few of their new ideas. But just so you know, that's why I'm going to be looking for a new advisory committee this year. So, I will need some people to help out for next year's meeting. So you may be hearing from me in that regard. And if you're particularly interested in getting involved, let me know. This coming year, there'll be other ways you'll see to get involved in meeting planning. Okay, well, we're here to build community, and now that the slide is up, this is the slide where I was going to have everybody stand up, because I think what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years since I've been involved in the STEP grantees meeting is that we are beginning to build that community. We're beginning to build some of the expertise that's needed in order for the community to sustain itself and so forth. And I think every year we see more and more people being willing to actually participate in the planning process, participate in the meeting and so forth. It's really nice to see. So we are building that community, and we're doing it in a variety of ways, but it happens in large extent at this meeting. For this particular group, I've always felt it's really important. It's true for most of the groups that are funded by the Division of Undergraduate Education at NSF, that they're highly interdisciplinary groups of people who whose normal disciplinary communities don't necessarily interact very much. And so to share your educational ideas across disciplines with people from a variety of different areas, it's really important that we have these kinds of meetings and that we work on building this larger multidisciplinary community. Okay. This has no green light on it. Oh, there we go. Okay, all right. So, well, we've done the introduction, so I'm going to go on to now what we're going to do at the meeting. So, as most everyone knows, the structure of the meeting includes breakout sessions, poster sessions, and then sort of the more informal gatherings, breaks, lunch, reception. And this year we started mentorship meetings, and some of you were able to participate in those this morning. So for first year projects, one of the suggestions of my advisory committee was that they would have really liked to have been mentored by a more mature project when they first started out. And so what we did was to go ahead and pair first year projects with more mature projects. And I thank all of those who volunteered to participate in that. That's another group that hasn't that I could have stand up. So there are something like 17 or so new Type 1A projects that were funded this last year, and 17 or so more mature projects in their third, fourth, or fifth year who are serving as mentors. And I'm hoping that people were able to manage to figure out how to meet one another and get together. And if you're in that one of those mentorship groups and you are having trouble, contact me and we'll see what we can do. All right, so the other thing, we had people submit abstracts for their posters, or for the first year projects that are not doing posters this year, they still submitted abstracts, or they were supposed to anyway. And what I did was to go through the abstracts and create a word cloud. And here's what it looks like. And I think there are some very interesting aspects to this. Obviously, STEM and students and program, those things stand out. And then various disciplines, mathematics is there, engineering, and so forth. The one thing that I wanted to point out that I would like to see kind of increase as time goes on, that's just not quite there yet. You can find it, but you have to look way above that. Just above the S, you'll see there's the word evaluation. It's really tiny. All right, so and then there's I was looking to see, but I don't even think it's up there. Institutionalization. Sustainability is up there. It's a little bit smaller than some of the other ones, but it is there. But this gives you some idea of what's going on collectively among this group. And I just thought I'd throw it out there. But more interesting is maybe what's not going on, or at least what's not getting represented in people's abstracts as well as it could be. Okay, so breakout sessions. Most of you've signed up for breakout sessions, so you're kind of familiar with what's going on. But one difference this year from last year and previous years is the presence of workshops. And again, this comes from suggestions by all of you and followed up on by the advisory committee. That it's time to move on from just panels to some sessions where individual teams are doing the job of organizing the session and presenting something that's a little bit different than what you would get in a typical panel discussion. So we have a number of those this year. We have 12 workshop sessions. We have 12 panels, 5 of which are repeated twice. And of the workshops, I'll point out that a couple of them are are what we're calling expert workshops, where we actually ask Mac Shelley. Mac, are you here anywhere? Where are you? There you go. Okay, to run a couple of workshops on evaluation. And again, this is a consequence of the responses that we got from people at last year's meeting about the evaluation sessions that we ran then. And people were feeling that maybe we could use some expertise, some real help in that area. So Mac has generously agreed to run 2 workshops, one this afternoon and one tomorrow morning. I want to point out about the session tomorrow morning that if you look at your agenda, you'll see that that session starts, that particular session on evaluation starts earlier than the others. So pay attention to that if you're in that breakout session. The poster sessions, similar to last year, if you'll look in your packet, you'll see there's a poster session organizer that's meant to help you identify projects that might be of particular interest to you. So projects are organized by keyword, by discipline, by type of institution, and so forth. And then if you take the poster organizer session and work that with the packet of abstracts, you should be able to identify those posters that you're most interested in going to see during the poster session this afternoon. So I will not say a whole lot more about that, but the poster session is divided into 3 time periods, and you should all know by now which time slot your particular poster should have somebody, some representative by it to talk about it with people who come by. And if you decide to stay longer because there are still people asking questions and so forth, that's great, that's fine, okay? But for at least that period of time, have someone by your poster. Okay, I just went through that one, so I think we know how to do that. And of course, one of the highlights of our meeting is the plenary speakers. And as I was looking through the agenda this morning, I just noticed that Alicia's picture didn't come out in the agenda for some reason. It says QuickTime compressor or decompressor needed or something like that. But anyway, Alicia is here, so you can see her yourself. You don't need to see her picture. So our 2 speakers, were very proud to have Alicia Dowd and Freeman Habrowski at the meeting this year. Freeman will be here tomorrow morning for the closing session. And as you know, part of the idea with speakers here at the meeting is to help us take our individual projects at our individual institutions and place them into the larger context in a variety of different ways. And that's, of course, also really part of the function of this meeting, is to recognize that your individual projects are all sort of part of this bigger thing that's going on, where we're trying to influence the number of STEM graduates nationwide. So lunch groups, last year we started with the idea of having some lunch table discussion topics. We're continuing that this year. If you signed up during registration and you're still interested in that topic, the table numbers are in your packet. They're color coded. When you come in for lunch, you'll be able to find your tables. There will be stanchions on the table with labels on them. Now, please be aware that I did my best with regard to what I saw from registration to identify how many tables we were going to need for each topic. There are a couple of topics that people signed up for that didn't even make the list because there just weren't enough people. We can't have tables that only have 3 people. There's just not, that just doesn't work. And if 13 people signed up for a particular topic, it was hard to determine whether or not we should have 1 table of 10 or 2 tables in which there are 3, that kind of thing. We have a little bit of difficulty with that. So make the best of it. And if it turns out that those tables that you're interested in are full and you want to start another table, feel free to do that. But there will be some tables, and I'm not sure how it's going to be, but there will be some tables that are just sort of free for those of you who don't particularly want to spend your lunch talking about a topic, but you'd rather talk about March Madness or whatever it happens to be. If there's another topic that you're really interested in pushing that's not on the list, come and see me and we can try to make arrangements for that, or email me if you can't find me. Okay, so social networking, like as with last year, we have our Facebook page, which hasn't seen much activity, but it's still there. And then, and if you are twittering about the meeting, we've put up a hashtag for you to use, which is on this slide. But what I'm most interested in talking about as far as the internet goes is the new STEP Central website, which is coming. It's now in beta version, and there are about 40 of you that I've asked to be beta testers. And if anyone else is interested in testing out the website, I would appreciate knowing about it. We expect that by May 1st, the official site will launch. And I just wanted to give you some indication of what you might expect to see on the website. So basically the idea, again, is a way of extending the meeting out throughout the year and allowing for increased communication among all of you, as well as to provide a place for those who are interested in STEP but don't have STEP grants currently to find out more information about the program. So there are a variety of different sections of the site. One is projects, and every active and expired project will have a place on the website. You'll be able to go and find out more information about those projects. You'll be able to do things like sort through by region or filter in various ways. So for example, here we can filter by, and I'm sorry, these slides didn't make it into your packet, but so you'll just have to follow along and you'll learn soon enough about it. But here you can filter by things like keywords or strategies that different projects are using. You can filter by disciplinary focus, et cetera, so that you can identify those projects that you're most interested in. Individual project pages will have, we hope, a vast amount of information about them. Right now, there isn't much data in here. What we have done is to download from the NSF website your original abstract that's on the NSF page. But there's a variety of other information about individual projects that will be on there and hopefully you will be adding to. And then there will be a library of resources. That library will contain a variety of different kinds of materials. Just to give you some indication, we've got, here's just a reference to a new book that's being published that's, that our keynote speaker tomorrow was the head of the committee responsible for it, Expanding Underrepresented Minority Participation. This is just an example of a resource. It just so happens that that Freeman Hrabowski was very involved in this project, and there was a panel meeting recently at which Dr. Hrabowski was one of the panelists, and Alicia happened to be the moderator. So it seemed like a good example to give you. Videos, be able to put up videos, be able to comment on these things and comment on people's comments and so forth. I'm not going to show you the video, but you just know it's there. And then I put up this example because some of you have been sending me the handouts that you're going to give in your breakout sessions. And this is where they're going to go ultimately. You can forget about the CD-ROM that you were getting every year several months after the meeting. Things will be on the website now instead. And so, for example, if you click on the link here on the website will be the actual handout. Ultimately, if you send in or submit poster PDFs, your posters can appear here as well, all as part of what's on the website. And then there are various discussion groups, some of which we're setting up, and individuals can set up any discussion groups that they want. So I'm not going to say any more about the website, but I am, as I said, I am interested in if there are others of you who would like to participate in the beta testing process, which is going on right now. I would really like to hear from you. And again, you can email me, or you can contact me at the meeting and let me know, and we'll arrange to make that so. And anyone else can see the site. I will send out the link to the site later after the meeting. But it's up and running now, and anyone can view it, but in order to be a beta tester, you have to be able to log in so that you can comment on it in various ways and find out what it is, what kind of comments or feedback we're looking for. Okay, and with that, I'm going to ask Larry Suter to introduce our plenary speaker. Thanks a lot, and have a great meeting.